Find some solution.
One of the most important things we reassure people when we arrive is that we're not the experts. So when we come to a situation, we would say, you are the expert. If I come to a family, you are the experts. You know your child very well. We're only here to ask you some very some important questions and to offer some solutions and to bring the knowledge that we have about behaviour to the information that you have about your child, and try and put those two pieces together to make a very nice package for the child. We absolutely, our first point would not be to focus on the behaviour of the child and try to change that behaviour. What we try to do is look at everything that supports the child, all the elements that are surrounding that child. In particular, two big pieces that we would look at are the environment. Are there elements of the environment that are causing the child to have to behave in the way that they're behaving, and are there adjustments we could make to that would support the child not to have to behave that way? So for example, if the child doesn't like loud noises and the environment is loud, can we all speak in a whispered voice? If the child doesn't like particular foodstuffs, can we adjust the foodstuffs that we're providing to the child so that they don't resist those? Anything outside of the child's internal state. And the second thing is then we look at the internal state. So the physiological well-being, the biological well-being. Is the child in pain? Is part of their presentation of behaviour a way of telling us, I'm in pain and I don't know how to tell you this, so I hit myself on the face to tell you I have a toothache because I don't have the words to do that, and I expect you to understand what I mean when I do that. And I really see that as the role of a behavioural specialist, is to almost be like an interpreter. So somebody who takes the behaviour that the child does, translates that into language that is understandable by the people that care for the child, and then we try and put together a package that supports the child.
So does it mean that the family usually doesn't see what causes the behaviour because they are too close?
Possibly, yeah. Sometimes.
Too emotional, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, and that's in a family situation, or even in a school situation, or in a care situation, a residential care situation. That oftentimes the people that are closest to the situation can't see that. And we have an expression in Ireland to say, you cannot see the wood for the trees sometimes, that we're so close to the situation, we're so involved. And really what we're trying to do, particularly from family situations, we're trying to stay afloat. We're just trying to get through the next 5 minutes, the next 5 minutes, the next 5 minutes. And part of our job is to come in and help you to not just be dealing with the situation, but to try and get ahead of it, to try and get proactive about it rather than reactive. And it can be very frustrating for a family when we come in and say, and offer very simple solutions to what seem like very complex problems, and the family can almost be embarrassed or upset that they didn't see this and feel guilty that they should have seen it. But it's exactly that dynamic that sometimes you just cannot see it because you're so involved in it. When we come with those simple solutions, that's when you feel best about your job, because we don't want to bring really complex and complicated behavioural strategies and technology and all of that to it if we don't have to. If it's a simple answer, we like to find a simple answer. There are numerous reviews, systemic reviews, so particularly Cochrane reviews, looking at the role of psychotropic medication in behaviours that challenge, and the general acceptance is that psychotropic medication does not have any influence on behaviours that challenge whatsoever. So that would be the general acceptance. However, if somebody is in pain and they need an analgesic, they need pain medication to reduce their pain, that then is going to influence their behaviours that challenge. So if I have a toothache and I'm punching myself because I have a toothache, and you give me pain medication to reduce the pain, and I don't hit myself as much. So we might use medication that way. not psychotropic. But so we might do something like a pain trial, where if we are struggling to figure out why you're punching your face, with cooperation with the medical services, general practitioner, and we might say, well, we are going to give you analgesic pain medication 3 times a day for 1 week. Yeah. And we're going to watch and see how much you engage in this behaviour. And then we're not going to give it to you for a week and see does that increase. And then we will give it to you again and see does it decrease. We can make a reasonable, very strong reasonable assumption that you're in pain and that this is something we need to focus on.